Namo Buddhaya. Imagine trying to catch a monkey in a dense forest. Frantic, jumping from branch to branch, seemingly impossible to control. Now, consider that the same monkey is your mind, leaping from thought to thought with incredible speed. No wonder we often feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unfocused. But what if I told you that taming this wild monkey mind is not only possible, but can also bring profound peace into your life? Today, we will explore the nature of the mind through the lens of Buddhist wisdom and meditation. You'll discover how being kind and patient with your thoughts can lead to greater clarity, inner calm, and, ultimately, a more mindful existence. Understanding the mind as a monkey. Our mind is often compared to a monkey. This analogy is not just for humor, but is deeply insightful. The Buddha taught that the mind is the fastest thing in the world, more rapid than anything else we can think of. Just like a monkey jumps from one branch to another, the mind leaps from one thought to the next in mere seconds. This constant movement is what makes it difficult to focus or stay present in the moment. Picture this. You sit down to meditate, ready to focus on your breath. But before you know it, your mind drifts. First, you think about the groceries you need to buy. Then, suddenly, you remember an old conversation, and without realizing it, you're lost in a daydream. Sound familiar? This is the monkey mind in action. Distracted, unfocused, always moving. The struggle to control the mind. It's tempting to try and control the mind by force, to wrestle it into submission. However, imagine trying to physically capture a wild monkey. Would it sit still if you locked it in a cage? Of course not. It would panic, scream, and become even more erratic. The same happens with the mind. If we force our thoughts to settle through sheer willpower, we only create more chaos and frustration. Buddhist teachings suggest a gentler approach. Instead of fighting the mind, befriend it. Meditation is not about forcing stillness, but cultivating a sense of ease and relaxation. Think of it like training a monkey to stay calm, not by locking it up, but by gently guiding it back each time it strays. This is where patience comes in. Picture this. You sit down to meditate, ready to focus on your breath. But before you know it, your mind drifts. First, you think about the groceries you need to buy. Then, suddenly, you remember an old conversation, and without realizing it, you're lost in a daydream. Sound familiar? This is the monkey mind in action. Distracted, unfocused, always moving. The struggle to control the mind. It's tempting to try and control the mind by force, to wrestle it into submission. However, imagine trying to physically capture a wild monkey. Would it sit still if you locked it in a cage? Of course not. It would panic, scream, and become even more erratic. The same happens with the mind. If we force our thoughts to settle through sheer willpower, we only create more chaos and frustration. Buddhist teachings suggest a gentler approach. Instead of fighting the mind, befriend it. Meditation is not about forcing stillness, but cultivating a sense of ease and relaxation. Think of it like training a monkey to stay calm, not by locking it up, but by gently guiding it back each time it strays. This is where patience comes in. The importance of patience and kindness in meditation. In meditation, distractions are inevitable. The mind will wander, that's a given. What's crucial is how you respond when it does. Rather than getting frustrated or angry at yourself, the key is to be kind. If your mind drifts away from focusing on your breath, simply acknowledge it with kindness. Imagine saying to yourself, "It's okay. I see you're distracted. let's gently return to the breath. This act of bringing the mind back over and over again is the essence of meditation practice. It's not about achieving instant focus or complete stillness. Instead, it's about developing a friendly relationship with your mind, patiently guiding it back each time it wanders. Just as you wouldn't scold a child for getting distracted, you shouldn't scold your mind. With kindness and consistency, the mind will slowly learn to stay present for longer periods. Practical example: meditation in action. Let's walk through a real-life example. Imagine sitting in meditation. You close your eyes, begin focusing on your breath, inhaling and exhaling slowly. After a minute or two, thoughts start creeping in. You remember an email you forgot to send, a project you're working on, or a conversation you had yesterday. The mind begins to drift. Now, instead of getting annoyed or discouraged, you gently bring your attention back to the breath. You tell yourself, it's okay to get distracted. Let's just return to the present moment. As you do this, you feel a sense of relief rather than frustration. This is the kind, gentle approach that makes meditation so transformative. The key here is consistency. Every time the mind drifts, bring it back with patience and kindness. This process trains the mind, and just like training a monkey, it takes time, but the rewards are immense. The power of continuity. Meditation is not an overnight fix. It's a lifelong practice. Like any skill, it takes time, effort, and persistence. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your ability to focus becomes. But, just like with physical exercise, progress can be slow, and setbacks are part of the journey. This is where patience becomes your greatest ally. Buddhist teachings remind us that all great achievements take time and effort. Whether it's mastering a musical instrument, learning a new language, or excelling in a sport, progress is gradual. Meditation follows the same principle. The more you practice, the better you become at recognizing the nature of your mind and guiding it toward focus and stillness. An example from daily life. Consider a scenario outside of meditation. You're working on an important project, but your mind keeps wandering to unrelated thoughts. Maybe you're thinking about what to eat for dinner or a conversation you had earlier. In this situation, instead of forcing yourself to focus, apply the same principle of kindness. Gently acknowledge the distraction and guide your thoughts back to the task at hand. This practice of bringing the mind back to focus, even outside of meditation, builds mental resilience and patience. Over time, you'll notice a shift in how you approach distractions, not with frustration, but with understanding and calm. The role of self-love in meditation. At the core of meditation is self-love. We meditate because we care about our well-being. If we constantly criticize ourselves for getting distracted, we're acting against that self-love. Instead, treat your mind with the same compassion you would offer a loved one. Self-love in meditation means accepting that distractions are part of the process. It means recognizing that just as the mind has a natural tendency to wander, you have the ability to guide it back with patience and kindness. By practicing self-love, your meditation sessions will feel more peaceful and fulfilling. In conclusion, the nature of the mind is like that of a monkey, restless, constantly moving, and difficult to tame. However, through the practice of meditation, you can train your mind to stay focused, but it requires patience, kindness, and self-love. Don't rush the process or get discouraged by distractions. Instead, View each meditation session as a step toward understanding your mind better. Just as you would train a monkey with patience and care, train your mind the same way. Over time, you'll find that the mind begins to settle, focus becomes easier, and a sense of peace naturally arises. Meditation is a lifelong journey, and with each session, you get a little closer to inner calm and clarity. May you approach your meditation practice with patience, self-compassion, and persistence. Remember, the mind is your friend, not your enemy. Treat it with kindness, and it will eventually settle into a place of peace. Namo Buddhaya.